welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy. I just got back a week ago, when this is being filmed, from the Allentown Paper Show. As a matter of fact, I was actually on the Pennsylvania Turnpike 1 week ago today as this is being filmed. Woohoo! I bring this up as I talked to Craig Farmer from Vintage Syndicate and Ephemera. Do check me out over there. I do Facebook auctions at 4 o'clock on Mondays, Eastern, most Mondays. And I've also interviewed him a little bit on the show when I purchased a whole bunch of paintings from him. And you probably saw my Instagram post where I had the entire back of my Rogue filled up with mystery boxes. And he wholesaled them out to me because he wanted to go home and he was just kind of sick of sitting there. And, going through them, I got some good stuff in there and it's a really good stuff for whatnot and, some stuff for my collection. Very, very happy with it. I was talking with him for a little while and I said, after I retire, which as we stand right now is 75 weeks, but who's counting? I realized that I probably am going to have to change my business plan. And that's what's fun about doing this channel is if you watch the really, really old videos and you watch the way things have evolved, it is kind of amazing. Obviously when we first started the channel, I'd never even heard of Whatnot. It was in its infancy. Now I'm moving stuff on that platform. I had never done any Facebook auctions myself. Now I'm moving stuff on that platform. I don't believe I had started Etsy at that point. If I had, I had just started it. I don't believe I had though. Now I'm moving stuff on Etsy and so on. So there's a lot of different ways that I've evolved my business over the time as well. And talking with Craig, he said, and I quote, "I hate eBay." And he said that he just cannot stand the thought of buying something and putting it up there. You pay $5 for it and you're going to sell it for $50 and you wait forever in order to sell it. He'd much rather pay the $5 for it, flip it to somebody like me for $15, let me put it up and wait. And I've always been very, very happy to be the person to purchase that and wait. And I'm beginning to move away from that for a few different reasons, which I think we've all seen the evolution. And one of the main reasons why is because I'm running out of space. Quite literally, I'm running out of space. And purchasing items is very, very easy. A few years ago, I moved from a 1,200 square foot house. Now, remember, square footage does not include basement and attic. So if you count that in, you're talking 2,400 square feet that I had total, of which far too much of it was used for storage. Moved into this house over here, which is 2,100 square feet, also has a basement and an attic. We were doing fine. Now things are overgrowing. I even got the 3 Seasons room filled up with stuff, which I had promised Mrs. Papergoy I would not do. So we are running into a problem because the calls keep coming. I keep getting calls for buys, and I keep going because you absolutely never know what might be in there. And I know Mr. Magazine and I have shared any number of times the ways to stop buying. Well, obviously the one way is not to go out on calls, but you never know what you might find. But we keep tricking ourselves into saying, I'll just offer less and less and less. People are still selling. I'm tricking myself in that I'm saying, as I'm shooting this, it's the beginning of October. There are 2, maybe 3 more flea markets left. There might be an estate sale or 2 or a library sale or 2. But other than that, there's nothing else to buy for the rest of the year. You and I both know I'm going to end up getting calls from people. One thing that Mr. Magazine, that devil, has been doing, he brought over a bunch of stuff and just dropped it off here, playbills and sheet music, and said, here, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. Because he's running out of space and the stuff he doesn't want to deal with, well, he dumped it over here, and I'm not the kind of person that can throw that stuff out. So I've got a bunch of that stuff sitting over here as well that I've got to figure out. And again, it's stuff that will sell. I just have to find the time to list it. So as time goes on, I'm beginning to see the value in the way Craig does things. Don't let it sit. It comes in, you move it on out. The best of all worlds, the most ideal, as I think we've said before, is you get the buy, you call somebody up, and they come to the location where you've got it at, and they load their car up and leave. That's the best of all possible worlds, because then you don't even need to move it. But if I have the ability to buy something for $1,000 and flip it for $2,500 an hour later, more times than not, I'm beginning to see that that might be the way to do it. And what's got me thinking about this, and this is where I really need to build up the retailers out there, is I did do the Instagram where I showed the CDs that I purchased. And I did tell the story about the flop house that I ended up going into, the rooming house, I guess it would more technically correct, and how I ended up filling stuff up. And if you have not heard that, it's on, the first story is on one live show, and the next story will be on the next live show, where I talk about that deal. But long story short, somebody had passed away in the rooming house, and they were selling off his stuff. And I ended up buying, I'm going to guess, 1,000 CDs, all classical music. I ended up all in $80. So I paid 8 cents a CD. I cannot lose money at that price. Some of them are box sets, some of them are this, some of them are that. I guarantee you that the best 4 CDs that I sell out of there, I will be out of the deal. I will be ahead of the game on 4 CDs. And that'll only mean 996 left over. The problem is, of course, I don't know which 4 CDs they are. So I got to go through all 1,000 of them in order to find the 4 best CDs that sell. But I'm beginning to think that if I knew somebody out there that liked dealing in that sort of thing, there's a lot of money potentially. I mean, if the CDs sell at $5 a piece, you're talking $5,000. Do not try that math at home. $8 to $10 a piece, you're talking $8,000 to $10,000. I mean, certainly whoever purchased them spent that kind of money on them. I paid $80 all in. If I had somebody other that I could just have loaded my car up and gone to their place and dropped them off in their driveway for $350, $400, which is what the kind of thing Craig would do, because he's got the Rolodex filled with people and he knows who's into that sort of thing. I probably would be much happier because my car would not be filled with stuff and I'd have a couple of $100s in my pocket. So it's just kind of interesting to watch the evolution, and I'm wondering if other people out there watching this have had a similar epiphany, that the buying is so easy. It just really truly is, but there are not enough hours in a day to sell what you have. And even if I were able to click my fingers and get all 1,000 of those CDs listed, assuming they were selling to some extent, then all of a sudden I'm spending a bunch of time packing them. And kind of got me thinking about all that as well, about Mr. Magazine and his business plan. Because if I were into those CDs for 8 cents a piece, if he hired somebody to list them, he's paying them 40, 50 cents a piece to list them, 40, 50 cents a piece for them to pack them, 40, 50 cents a piece for them to find them. So that 8 cents turns into $2 worth of expenses when you count packing supplies and the like, plus fees on Amazon or eBay and the like. So he's basically got to sell a CD at $5 to $6 just to break even. Probably with shipping, probably $7 just to break even on the CD. And that's paying 8 cents, which is essentially free. It's kind of amazing the cost structure he has in place, and that's not counting any of his overhead costs. I'm lucky I'm in the house. I don't have to worry about all this stuff. I don't have employees. I don't have all of that stuff. But I'm beginning to see at my level that wholesaling this stuff out might be the way to end up going. And at some point he may recognize that as well. Of course, the problem is who can handle the volume of stuff that I get, let alone the volume of stuff that he gets. So do comment down below, again, if you have noticed that you are changing just because the purchasing is so easy. And it does get a little difficult when the selling slows down as well, because now I'm sitting there tripping over boxes and I'm saying, I'm going to list them for what? They're not going to sell anytime soon. And I'm beginning to see Craig's point that, yeah, great, I'm listing this magazine today for $50. When it sells in 4 years for $50, yeah, great, I paid $5 for it. That's wonderful. But when you've got an entire basement full of stuff listed at, $20 to $50, and you're selling 2 to 3 items a day with as slow as eBay is right now, it gets a little difficult, and you begin to say, hey, maybe I should just wholesale. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Going to be very, very interesting to see where the business is after I retire, and where I end up taking it to, because I've also got the fact that I'll be retiring from my day job at 55. I kind of would like to retire all total when I'm 65. I don't know what I'm going to do at that point. Hopefully I can sucker Mr. Magazine into buying the whole thing as a turnkey operation, but who knows? So hopefully that helps you some. Do comment down below, and I will see you next video.